for whatever reason, you are drawn to becoming a coach and working with clients, whether it is the ability to serve your people, create an engaged community that you get to love on, or financial freedom, getting away from your day job, or all of the above and so much more, you have a calling that's been placed on your heart and is the reason why you clicked play on this episode. So today I'm going to be talking about what it actually takes to become a coach. What are some things that you need versus some things that you really don't need? I'm here to debunk a couple of myths and empower you to step into your highest self and get really real about what it actually takes to become a successful coach and what action steps that you can take right after this. Let's get in. I'm your host, Tiffany Chung, your go-to for all things marketing, mindset, and manifestation. I grew my online business from 0 to beyond 6 figures in 8 months. My purpose is to empower women to step into the highest, most aligned versions of themselves. If you are ready to take charge of your life, learn how to design a wildly successful business, and leave limiting beliefs behind, you've come to the right place. You will learn the actionable tips and step-by-step strategies on money, manifestation, and social media. It's time to step into your role as boss, to raise your vibration, and tap into your unlimited potential today. Welcome to the Social Reset Podcast. Hello and welcome back to the Social Reset Podcast. Before I get into today's episode, I do want to remind you that the Design Your Magical Offer Extravaganza free masterclass is taking place Monday, November 29th. And so if you're listening to this, it is not too late to register. You can register through the link in the show notes or the link in my bio. That is going to get you a free seat to the masterclass, especially if you have been thinking about joining Business Activation Academy that launches on the same day. You definitely want to be there. So let me know if you have any questions. As always, you can DM me at tiffanychung.co if there's anything you need. All right, let's get into the episode. So today we're going to be talking about what it takes to become a coach. I think that there are a lot of different biases and messages and things that are thrown around and things that we hear in terms of who you need to be, what you need to do, what you need to invest in, what you need to have in order to be a coach. And so I want to help debunk that and be able to open up the conversation about becoming a coach and talk a little bit about the coaching industry. So the coaching industry is a very non-regulated space, meaning that you can essentially call yourself a coach without any experience, without a certification, without having a degree in anything. Essentially, you can become a coach when you decide that you want to be a coach. And there is a lot of talk about certification. So like if you are a health coach, do you need to be certified? If you're a Dharma coach, or do you need a certification? If you're a business coach, do you need a piece of paper that says that you are ready to go and ready to coach? And the answer is no. Like you do not need a certification. I was actually talking about this in the mastermind that I am in, and we were talking about how certifications is very much this patriarchal colonial way of thinking of like, oh, now I have this piece of paper that proves that I am now able to do this thing, and then therefore creates this hierarchy of now I have this knowledge through this certification, therefore makes me a viable, established, official, professional coach, right? All of those patriarchal words that we do not abide by or enjoy by any means. And so while you can choose to participate in a certification if you truly feel like you are being called, if you feel like there's such valuable information that you really want to be a part of, and or a community you want to be a part of, the only thing I would advise against is going to get a certification for the sake of saying, oh, I have a certification and now that means XYZ, right? So what are you making that certification mean about you? I gave this example recently, but if you're comparing someone who just has watched these videos and modules and now has a piece of paper saying that they're certified to do XYZ thing versus someone that has maybe helped their father, through a chronic illness issue, and was able to heal him through holistic wellness and holistic health coaching through actually being able to put in the work and the action, or maybe someone who has helped build social media accounts and manage, social media creators and personalities, but there is no specific certification for that, right? So I think that there's so many ways that we can look at this, but the thing I want to end with is that you do not need to have a certification. You do not need to have a piece of paper stating that you can do a certain thing. A lot of the times, the coaches that I come across have years and years of experience, or they are looking to gain experience through taking action they've never taken before in order to become a good coach, right? So the action isn't something that comes before. If you do have prior knowledge, experience, incredible. But if you don't, that's also something that you can gain, right? It's never too late. So let's talk a little bit about what you need in order to become a good coach. So you might be listening to this and maybe you are in the car, maybe you're cleaning your house, cooking dinner for the kids, whatever it is that you're doing, you are curious and clicked on this episode for a reason, or it was brought to you for a specific reason. So you might be working a day job. Maybe you don't have a job right now and you're looking for one. Maybe you have multiple side hustles going, or maybe you are a stay-at-home mom. You want to create financial independence. Whether you enjoy your situation or not, there is a reason that you are drawn to coaching, and there is a reason that you are drawn to become more, right? I think as women, the message that we're told over and over is that we should be happy with what we have and that we should be lucky that we are where we are at all, right? And not feeling like we want to aim for more. A lot of really high achieving women feel like they don't even have they're not even allowed to want more because they quote unquote should be happy with what they have, right? So a lot of women end up following those traditional paths of life of getting married and, getting a job. Maybe they have their own business, they have kids, they buy a home, they have their dream car, and there's still so many things that they want. And for women, we're taught like you should be happy with the things that you have, be a homemaker, be a mother, be a wife, all of these things that really tenacious and driven women are like, wait, there's so much more beyond that. I can have those things, or I could choose not to have those things, and I can still be everything and more. Everything that my soul is calling me towards, I can have. And so let's talk a little bit about what are some things that you need to embody? Who do you need to become, right? Who is the version of you that you need to become in order to step into your role as a coach? And I promise you, this is going to be so much simpler than you think it's going to be. It isn't this long, draining process of, okay, I need to do this and this and this and that, right? Let's talk a little bit about be, do, have before I jump into my 4 main points here. So be, do, have is essentially taken and flipped. So a lot of people look at it as have, do, be. So a lot of people wait until they have the resources, they have the time, they have the energy, they have the perfect situation, then they can be who they want and do what they want, right? And this is flawed because you're constantly waiting for some sort of external circumstance in order to teach you or to tell you that you can have what you want. So therefore, you're not making a sovereign decision. You're making a decision where you are seeking something outside of yourself to tell you that you can then do this thing, or that you can then follow your dreams, or that you can then take action, right? So what you could do instead is decide that you can be whoever you want in any situation, in any sense of the term. So that being comes from you first. Then you take aligned action and you move towards the vision that you want to be able to get what you want to have, the be, do, have, rather than have, do, and then be. The be is the thing that comes first, okay? The be is the thing that comes first. You decide, and then everything else falls in line. There is a timeline that's waiting for you. It's going to recalibrate when you decide, you know what? I'm going all in on myself. I am going to trust myself. I am going to, take this leap forward. I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to pull out a business loan, right? I'm going to write this off as an expense. I might borrow money from my friends to get this going because you decide you want to become a coach and you decide that this is what is possible for you. That is the very first thing here. So the first main point that I have is belief in yourself and in your clients, right? So having faith, being able to trust that in the very beginning, when you've got absolutely nothing, right? You're starting at square one. You don't have an email list. Maybe you don't have an online presence. Maybe you have no idea how to create content, right? You're starting at square one, but you need to have, and this is mandatory, you need to have some sort of belief in yourself and in the clients you want to serve. This doesn't need to be perfect belief. I'm not saying sit around every single day and expect that you are just thinking happy thoughts and it's good vibes only and you are just in this magical unicorn land of all things rainbows and butterflies, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you need to have a certain level of belief that is going to carry you through even when you do not see the results that you want, and you're not going to make it mean anything about yourself. You are not going into this creating goals out of your wounds, right? So you are not going into this thinking, okay, if I become a coach and then I make a 5K month, now I'm going to be able to tell all of my ex-coworkers that I'm better than them and I'm going to shit on them and my boss who treated me badly, right? You're not creating goals out of your wounds. You are creating goals because you are coming from this place of power and compassion and love, and you see that there is a hole in the world that you can fill, that you can offer your love, your guidance, your compassion, and let that be a guiding light. That's a very different energy than I need to crush this goal. I need to get this XYZ thing done by this timeline, or else I'm not, whatever you're going to make it mean about yourself, that you're not a good coach or you're not able to be, a good mother, all of those things. And so I think that it's really beautiful and powerful when you are able to step into this power of belief, and it's free. So I think it's really powerful when you are able to be in this state of belief and then decide, what do you believe about your clients? What type of clients do you want to work with, right? What does that look like for you? I truly believe that in the very beginning, when you are building out a coaching business and you're building out a coaching offer, you don't need all of the bells and whistles. You don't need to start with an email list. You do not need to start with building your Instagram page and getting all these followers. You do not need to start paying for ads or hiring a team. Like, you don't need jack shit, okay? You need to focus on building relationships with your clients and showing up authentically, creating content that makes you smile, right? That makes you connect yourself to the people that you want to work with, that you actually want to serve. That is the one and only thing that you need to focus on, is getting people on calls with you and sharing content and building relationships. Every single thing can come afterwards. You don't have to focus on it right away. Another thing I want to talk about when it comes to belief is you want to have a level of resilience that ties into your big why. What does this mean to you? What does this coaching practice mean to you, and why do you want it? This is going to be really important because you are going to hit these moments where someone says no on a consult and then it happens 2 times afterwards, maybe in the same day. This has happened to me many times. And you're going to have to be able to say, it's okay. This just means that there are 3 people who are at a fuck yes that get to work with me and I'm holding space open for them, right? It also means that you get to allow yourself to cry or scream into a pillow or dance it out or shake it out or whatever else you need to do, but be able to come back and say, okay, let's do it again. You're going to be able to get back up and you are going to be okay with doing that over and over and over again, because guess what? You're probably not going to see the results and the vision that you want to build over years or even a year within a month or a couple of weeks or a couple of months, right? This is something that takes time, but even more than time, it takes belief. Okay, I would even cancel out time when you have true belief that this is going to work and you're going to be all in. And it's really, really important that you are able to believe in yourself and you are able to pick yourself back up and allow yourself to immerse yourself into communities where other people get it and understand what it is that you do. That's why I love Business Activation Academy so much. And I was talking about this on my Instagram Live with Manal, who recently graduated. And one of the things that she said was like, when I would get into a really vulnerable moment on the group coaching calls, I would feel like, oh my God, what are people thinking? And she would look to the chat and just see these incredible supportive comments from everyone else inside the group. And she would just feel so warm. And she said that it was an incredible community, that she couldn't have asked for a better group of people to go through BAA with. So when you're able to immerse yourself into a community where people are going through the same things, doing the same things, and doing them together, being able to offer feedback, being able to offer support, something really, really beautiful happens. So I really just want to remind you of that there is so much power in community. It really takes a village to raise a baby, and having a business, starting a new business feels like having a new baby sometimes. So being able to be vulnerable and create your why and create resilience around all of it is really powerful. The last thing I want to talk about in terms of belief in yourself is having that openness to heal. If you are a coach that is not doing any personal development, if you are a coach that is not working on yourself and working on your inner healing and really being open to receiving, I want to ask you why you are shying away from those things, and also why you're becoming a coach at all, right? So what it is that you sell is that power of belief and improvement and becoming a better person or healing yourself in some way. And so if you aren't able to do those things in your own life, like, you need to be able to lead by example. So being able to heal yourself, work on your shadows, your inner child wounds, your trauma responses, that is your duty as a coach. That is your duty, because when you heal yourself, the world heals. You do not need to heal everyone around you, your mom and your partner and your kids, and all of these people are not your responsibility. Even your client's transformation is not your responsibility, but you are responsible for yourself. And so when you heal and when you work on yourself and when you are able to do that in a powerful and vulnerable and sometimes painful way, you show other people what's possible, and that allows them to be expanded by your journey. All right, the second main thing I want to talk about is consistent and messy action. I think this is so underrated. I think that perfectionism and the patriarchy and these different supremacy systems have taught us that, like, and also the school system, has taught us that, like, okay, we got to do our best work and turn in A+ work, like, to turn in some B- work, like, turn in some unfinished work, right? Take some messy action that you know maybe isn't going to give you the result that you want, right? Go and be unafraid to take action even if you aren't 100% sure about it. And even if it isn't your best work, done is better than perfect. And when you put yourself out there and it isn't your best work, or it isn't the best, the best, most perfect calculated thing, you get feedback. You run experiments. You are able to play trial and error with the universe and see what sticks and then realign. When I was a new coach, there was nobody, not a single soul, that could have told me all of the action steps that I needed to take or the strategy I needed to follow. P.S. There was no fucking strategy. There's nobody other than you following your own intuition and trusting yourself. Even my students that invest into BAA, they're not going, all right, Tiffany is going to give me everything. BAA is going to give me everything. I'm going to walk out here as a brand new coach. They have trust in the system and in me because you have to when you invest in a program. But even more so, what I'm trying to say is they have trust and belief in themselves. They have this sense of accountability and responsibility that they hold themselves to. And so sometimes that does end up looking like an investment, that does end up looking like action that you're being drawn towards, and it doesn't need to be perfect. It can be and feel messy and still be transformative. Okay, I want to remind you of that. It can be and feel messy, but it can still be incredibly transformative. So this might look like putting in extra work, aligned work on the weekends, before and after work, allowing yourself to be coachable on group coaching calls, allowing yourself to be resourceful and hunting down information, because there is just so much of it online for free, and also within academies and programs that people build just for you to streamline the process. All right, let's get into the third main point here, which is the drive to want to help serve others. So I talked a little bit about this in the first main point about belief, but you want to be able to have a drive that gets you up in the morning, gets you really fired up, and pushes you to want to be able to serve others, right? You care about the world, you care about the people in it, you want to leave it better than you found it, you're able to hold space for others. Maybe you've been told that you're a really good listener, or that you know what to say at the perfect times, right? Like, you need to have some type of drive to want to serve the people around you and make their lives better. I think that is kind of one of the main key things that you want to identify as a coach, is that you are going into this to be able to serve people and to be able to and feel lit up and sparkly doing so. These are normally people that are interested in, psychology, being the friend that everyone goes to for advice, being really empathetic, right? You don't have to be a certain type of person. Like, you don't have to be a traditional coach that is, super kind and sweet and smiley. You can also be a coach that is a little bit more of a tough love coach, right? But understanding that at your core, however you express yourself and identify yourself, you want to serve people, you want to help people. And I think that that is mandatory in becoming a coach. All right, the very last thing I'm going to talk about, the fourth main point in what it takes to become a coach, is vision. You have a vision of what you want to create and who you want to become, right? This is maybe not something that you go into knowing, right? Maybe it's something that comes through coaching. Like, I had no idea what I wanted my coaching business to look like in the very beginning, but my vision did unfold over time. So your vision might just be, how do I want the next 6 months to look? How do I want the month after this to look, right? So you have to have some type of a vision. This doesn't mean that you need to be planning out every step, knowing all of the calculated steps to take. You do not need to know all of those things, but in your head, when somebody asks you, hey, where do you see yourself in 3 months? You should be able to say, yeah, this is what I want to have. This is who I want to become. This is what I'm working on right now. This is what I'm looking to embody, right? You want to be able to create something that you are taking steps towards, and having a vision is really, really important. Also, your vision can change, right? I know my vision changed for sure. I started off as a social media coach, and after a while, I didn't realize how much I would get sick of talking about the same things about Instagram over and over and over, and hashtags and insights. I wanted to help people on a broader, grander scale. So I fell in love with business and helping people create their first programs. And it just made me so incredibly happy. And I ended up being able to intertwine human design and energy and feminine flow and birth Business Activation Academy. And so in the beginning, it wasn't like, all right, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to do that. I'm going to start off as a business coach and then I'm going to do this huge transition to be a business activation coach and then launch BAA and then I'm going to hit this milestone. Like I had no idea what was in front of me, but I knew that I wanted to be expansive. I knew I wanted to serve people. I knew that I wanted to create financial freedom for myself and be able to save. I knew that I wanted to get on a bunch of coaching calls because I loved it so much. I knew that I wanted to make money. I knew that I wanted to make this world a better place with my energy and my magic. I knew I wanted to be unapologetic about who I was, right? These are all things that I wanted to embrace and explore and feel really confident about. And so even though it took a completely different turn and I had no idea that I would, give up being a social media coach in order to become a business coach that helped new coaches and existing coaches that want to, integrate more flow. I had no idea. I had no idea I was going to have a spiritual awakening and then several more and become a witch, right? I had no idea that any of this was going to happen. But when you're open to it and you're open to your vision changing and you are clear about who it is that you want to embody, the universe takes that and takes your tenacity, sees your resilience and raises you one and gives you the opportunities you need in order to succeed and grow, in order to become the person that you're meant to become. I literally feel like whenever someone identifies their secret sauce, as I call it, this is your magic, your unique magic, one of a kind magic that only you have through your energy, through your story. I truly believe when someone owns that unapologetically and starts a business through it, the universe is like, yes, finally, and then connects you. This has happened time and time again. Like there's so many people that then find you magically and are like, hey, I want to work with you. Or like, hey, I don't know why, but I was drawn to you. Or hey, you just popped out of nowhere. I don't even remember how I found you, but I need to be inside your coaching program right now. So many of my students inside BAA have told me they've gotten messages like this. I've gotten messages like this. I truly believe that something magical and spiritual happens when you say yes to following your dharma, your purpose, your life path, because so many other people's destinies are depending on it. And that is what I want to leave you with. So if you are curious about Business Activation Academy, you can learn more in the show notes below. Come join us for the free masterclass on 11/29 at 11 a.m. in the morning. I'm going to be walking you through how to create a signature offer, how to create a coaching program that is designed by you and really aligns with your energy and your transformation for the clients that you would love to serve. So I would love to see you there. I would love to see you inside Business Activation Academy, and I will talk to you all soon. Message me if there's anything that you need at tiffanychung.co. Mwah! Love you all so much. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe. If this episode resonated with you, please take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at tiffanychung.co. I truly appreciate interacting with every one of you. Catch you all on the next one.